So these are the tools we're gonna use for the assembly. I'm not going to use all these tools, just these two tools. One is a Phillips screwdriver and another is a star. So most of the things we'll be doing with this. This is the entire component for the assembly. You can see the motherboard and all the other components. We'll see one by one each. We won't be using all of these components, but we will use a subset of this. Just wanted to show you all the components. And this is the CPU, the single most important component. You can see the golden pin of the CPU on the back. So this is the CPU, AMD. So that is a size. You can see it in my hand. This is a RAM. The random access memory. This is how it looks. As you can see, there are chips again. Integrated circuit chips. This is the other side of the RAM. I have 4 similar RAM chips. So these are the different secondary storage devices. Left side is HDD and right side is SSD. This is a typical HDD, Seagate 1 TB HDD. And this is the other side of the HDD. So you can see the circuit board there. So this is the pin where we connect the HDD, the power and the data. This is a different SSDs. We won't be using this in our demo, but this is one of those secondary storage devices. This is the spec of the SSD. They are pretty light. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the weight here, but they are pretty light than the HDD in general. So this is the motherboard where we're gonna plug everything in. This is where we're gonna plug the RAM, the slots you're seeing here. Different chipsets in the motherboard. This is where we plug different devices, the slots, the dark slots there. And this is the place where we're gonna plug the CPU in. This is the CPU socket you're seeing right now. This is the motherboard. So this is the other side of the motherboard. Nothing much interesting here. It's just a plain big circuit board. You can see the screw holes, which we're going to use to screw the motherboard into the cabinet. So this is where we plug in different devices, USB, audio, Ethernet. So this is the motherboard. So this is a NIC card, or the network interface adapter. Again, a circuit board with a couple of chips. So this is where we plug the Ethernet cable. This is the graphics card display adapter. This is the other side of the display adapter. Again, circuit with chips. So this is where we plug in the monitor. You can see HDMI, DVI, and VGA. So these are the three different types of monitor cables which we can plug into the graphics card. So this is a heatsink. So this doesn't have any electronic components. It's just a metal plate at the end of the day. So this will go on top of the CPU. This will cool the CPU down. That's the purpose of it. So this is a heatsink. This fan will go on top of the heatsink. This is the fan of the CPU. This is the operating system disk. We are not going to use this operating system. We'll be using Windows 10, but just wanted to show you. This is Windows 7. So next I'm going to place the CPU into the CPU socket and assemble the CPU and motherboard. So one thing to notice here is the gaps. So this gap should match the gaps in the socket. As you can see, there are gaps on the left side and gaps on the right side, on the CPU as well as on the socket. That is the indication. That's how you place it. They should match. It's very simple to keep it. Now I'm going to close the lever to keep the CPU intact. Keeping the CPU is pretty simple, but keeping the heatsink is a little more tricky. You don't need any techniques or anything. Just keep it and close. So this is a heatsink. So I'm gonna keep it on top of the CPU. So there is thermal paste for better contact between the CPU and the heatsink. So that white thing is a thermal paste you're seeing. So I kept this heatsink on top of the CPU. Now I have to put a clip to make it stable. That's what I'm going to do next. It's a slightly tricky process because it's very tight and it has a groove inside it. I don't think I'll be able to show you, but it's pretty straightforward. So you can see 2 grooves there. I'm going to put the clip in. I need to adjust a little bit before yeah, it's okay right now. I need to move a little left. Yep, all good. Yep. So the heatsink is placed and the clip is done. So this is how it looks after placing the heatsink and the CPU on top of the motherboard. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the RAM, the random access memory, those chips we have seen. This is the RAM slot. So the indication is the cut, this cut should match there. So that cut should match here. So that's the indication. You cannot place it the other way. All you need to do is to just press. It's pretty straightforward. Yep, all done. I'm gonna place 4 chips like this. I have 4 RAM. I have 24 GB RAM. 2 into 8 plus 2 into 4. These are 2 8 GB I just placed. Now I'm going to place 2 4 GB. Just pressing. Very simple. So as you can see, there is a mat underneath just to save the motherboard from any kind of, issues with the pressing. So right now I have placed the RAM, CPU and the heatsink. So this is how it looks. Next we're going to see is a couple of internal components of some of the cards and stuff we already saw. So this is a heatsink you're seeing. On top is a heatsink. So this is the most important components of the computer we just placed. The motherboard, CPU and the RAM. I'm going to keep it apart and I'm going to show you a couple of things which is not related to the assembly. So I'm going to show you what is inside the graphics card. So this is a graphics card. I'm going to unscrew it. So this is not part of the assembly of the PC. So you don't have to do it if you're doing an assembly of the PC. Just wanted to show you what is inside a graphics card. So I'm going to remove the heatsink. I'm removing the heatsink of the card. The card has a heatsink. This is a heatsink. Inside that you can see the GPU. So the chip you're seeing right there, that is a GPU, or the graphics processing unit. So that is what processes the display in the devices. Almost all the devices we own has this thing. Phone, laptop, everything. I'm going to keep it back. Just want to show you the GPU. So it depends on the card. You can have more than one GPU, a number of those kind of chips. This is a very simple, cheap graphics card. That's why you have only one chip of those kind. I'm going to screw it back. Next, I'm going to show you what is inside an SSD. So this is an SSD. I'm going to unscrew it. So this screw is a safety screw. It has 5 stars. It's a 5-star. It's called Penelope. So you need a special screwdriver to remove it. This is the special screwdriver. Unfortunately, I cannot show you in the camera because the camera is not able to focus. It's very small. So it's called Penelope. You can search in Google if you want. I'm using it and removing the screws. Most of the hard disk has security screws like this for safety reasons. So this is again chip inside. No moving parts. That's a highlight. There is no moving parts in the secondary storage, and it retains the memory without any power. So that's the main point. So it is chips again inside. So you can see the Samsung chip inside because it's a Samsung SSD. So we have seen a solid state disk. Now we're going to see an HDD, the old disk drive. So as you can see, it has a moving disk inside. So that is the disk which holds the data. That disk has the data. That disk will rotate. And this is a controller chip. So this is what is driving that disk and taking the data out and pushing it into the rest of the system. And this is where we plug it in. So it's a USB hard drive. I'm going to place it back and I'm going to power it. So one thing I wanted to tell you is don't do this because it's a hard disk which is not working. So that's why I'm able to show you. So as you can see, it started rotating. It's pretty fast rotation. I don't know if you can see. You can see me in the reflection because it's very, very fast and it's rotating. So I'm going to unplug it so that you can see it rotating. So it is rotating at 7,200 RPM. The thing which is moving inside the disk, that side clip kind of thing, that is a head. That is the thing which actually reads the data from the disk. Pretty much same principle of the old record player or any device like that. It's a disk and head architecture. So it has a moving part, so which means that it's slower and less reliable because it has moving parts.